Okay, 6x minus 2x equals 16. How do we do this problem? Well, there's two humps. First is the big scary words, which we're going to ignore. And then there's a little math problem, which is just addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So this is an easy little problem. The first thing is, if you're worried about the big scary words for your chapter title or the section title, in this case, linear equations, or something like that in your book or your digital media, whatever you're working on, please just ignore the big scary words. I know that's hard to believe. You'll hear your math teacher use these big words. They're in your book, and you'll quite reasonably think that you need to know these words, but you don't. They're absolutely meaningless and worthless, and they're just there to scare you. So please, please, please feel free to ignore the big scary words that are the chapter titles of your book. In this case, the big scary word is linear equations. And I've kind of made fun of it here with the great word shark and the Tyrannosaurus Rex out here to the right. And I just pretend that they say these big scary words and they try to scare you. But I promise you, no one will tell you this, but I promise you, you don't need to know these big scary words. And that should take a big load off your mind. Maybe you've been hearing these words and you're just, oh, what does this mean? What does that mean? I've never heard such a crazy word in my life. It just came out of nowhere and scared me. And I'm telling you, you don't need to know these words. You don't need to know any of the chapter titles. All you really need to know how to do is work the problems. So that's why we have Mr. Camel down here. I just want to make the point. I'm making a mark over the first hump. And the first hump is just to ignore the big words. And the second hump is to learn how to do the math problems. And that's actually quite easy because it's just addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, which you've been doing your whole life. And so we have Fluffy Piggy. Yay, Fluffy Piggy. Fluffy Piggy says all you have to do is the math problem. Don't worry about the big words. All right, so here's Fluffy Piggy. And he says, do the math problem. Okay. So whenever we see x and a bunch of numbers in an equation, all we need to do is isolate x. So our goal is to get x by itself. Isolate it means the same thing. Get x by itself on one side of the equation. The first step is to simply write the equation as simply as possible, or simplify. 6x minus 2x can be rewritten as 4x. This whole term here is just 4x. And on the right side, 16, we're just rewriting it, 16. So 6x minus 2x is 4x. In other words, 6 times anything minus 2 times anything is the same as 4 times anything. Just as an example, 6 oranges minus 2 oranges is 4 oranges, or 6 pigs minus 2 pigs is 4 pigs. Okay, 6 $5 bills minus 2 $5 bills is 4 $5 bills. So 6 minus 2 equals 4. 6x minus 2x equals 4x. And on the right side, I'm just rewriting the 16. Now, how do we isolate Now, how do we isolate x? We have this 4 over here on the left side that I would like to get rid of. So what I'm going to do, remember that little rule, that little thingy poo that says you can do anything you want to both sides of an equation as long as you do the same thing to both sides of the equation? So you can add something to both sides. You could subtract something from both sides. You can multiply both sides by a number, or you can divide both sides by a number. You can do anything you want to an equation as long as you do the same thing to both sides. Well, since I want to get rid of this 4, I'm going to divide both sides by 4. Okay? And when I do that, I have this term here, 4 divided by 4 times x. Well, 4 divided by 4 is 1. Anything divided by itself is 1. So 4x over 4 simplifies to just 1x. And that equals what's on the right side, 16 divided by 4, and that's 4. So 1x equals 4, or x equals 4. And that is the solution to our problem. I'll just draw a rectangle around it. X equals 4. That's the answer. And so we could stop right there, and Piggy would be happy, and you and I are both happy, and you would get the right answer on your test. But as human beings, we sometimes make mistakes. And so for quality control, if you will, we want to make sure we didn't make a mistake. So we're going to plug this number 4, x equals 4, back into our original equation and see if it works. See if both sides are indeed equal. And that way we'll know we got the right answer. So I'm going to rewrite our original problem over here. 6x minus 2x equals 16. And everywhere there's an x, I'll plug in our solution, which is 4. So everywhere there's an x, I'm going to plug in a 4. So 6 times x equals 4. So plugging in a 4. That's a crazy 4. Minus 2 times x, but we know x equals 4, equals 16. So let's continue simplifying over here. 6 times 4, that is 24. Always will be. Minus 2 times 4 is 8. And that's true in any language. And that equals 16. Just rewriting 16. Okay, now simplifying again. 24 minus 8, that's 16. And on the right side, we just rewrite the 16. So plugging in 4 works. 16 does equal 16. You get an equation that works. And so you know that you're correct. Your solution was right. X does equal 4. And so I'm going to give us an A+.
Thumbs up and subscribe. For more videos like this, check out algebravideos.com.